Sajdev here with Tanushree Kumar, and we have a brilliant solution to the biggest problem all travelers face. Let's start off by talking about the market we'll be operating in. 83 million plus travelers traveling with 90 airlines to 240 destinations. That is a tremendous market. And the problem with, let's take Etihad Airways as an example. Etihad is the leading airline in the UAE, and if you're a traveler traveling with these airlines, and if you have excess baggage, you can end up paying up to $576 as charges. Of course, the other prices for other regions are put here. Well, have you ever traveled with overweight luggage and you don't know what to do, and you've been hassled at the check-in counters and subsequently have had to pay hefty amounts? Well, we have Traxia. What our app does is it acts as an avenue for two different kinds of people coming to one solution. One are the people who have excess baggage, and the others are the people with excess allowance. Take me and her for example. If I have 40 kilos of baggage with a 30 kilos allowance,
and I have 20 kilos of baggage with the 30 kilos of allowance, we'll match on our app with the following criteria: our flight details, the convenience that we can meet at, the common disparity between our luggage, and our duration of stay in the foreign country. So how does the customer journey work? Well, I realize that, I'm underweight, I can take 10 kilos extra luggage. We connect on the app. His luggage is delivered to Traxia's center, where it's done a complete security check on to make sure there's no illegal items. And then it's brought to me, at which we travel the world together to go to a foreign country. We meet there at our convenience, and we have an exchange of payment and of the luggage. So, to narrow down our target market,
we basically split it into two strata. Ones are usually the ones with excess baggage, and of course corporate travelers and tourists are the ones with excess allowance.
So we went out and we did some surveys and we asked people what they thought, and most of the people were willing to take someone else's baggage, but a lot of them were concerned about security, and at the same time they were so happy to do it that they said they might even do it for free. So on the screen you can see some of our testimonials. Again, you can see that one of the main issues was security.
We've spoken about a lot of statistics, but one important statistic that matters to all of us in this room is that 97% of all startups fail. Why do you think that happens? Because usually these entrepreneurs are very short-sighted and are unable to see the lapses in their ideas. We're not going to be sharing the same fate as they are. We know that the biggest problem we will be facing as an app is security.
So we came up with a 3-point security model to focus on this problem. Firstly, you sign a legal binding contract when you join the app. Secondly, we have a security check at our center to make sure that after you do step 1, you still don't try to get past us. And we limit our items at first to start off with simple things like heavy documents that need to be sent, or different types of clothing. And last of all, the foundation of our business is on trust. If there isn't trust, there's no point to go ahead with it.
And well, as you can see on screen, this is just the user interface process in a nutshell. Now, we have limitless advantages with this app, but we've break them down to 5. Great support, pre-screen for security. Most importantly, you relax. You relax when you travel, and you focus on the things that matter, and all of this is wallet friendly.
Who's our competition? Companies like Luggage Travel that send your luggage ahead of time before you get there. The airlines, of course, were taking away one of their streams of revenue. And also courier services like DHL, FedEx that send documents as well.
And this is our revenue model. As you can see, a New York Times study said that the fees had risen from 426 million to 2.5 billion. Being conservative, if we even snatch away say 50% of all of this, we will have a total transaction amount through our app of 1.25 billion approximately, and we'll be implementing a 5% transaction charge for accommodating this exchange, and our total revenue, of course, can come up to 625 million, and our costs are speculative.
So to come to the conclusion, you meet in advance, you receive the luggage, you get to travel with all your precious belongings. You don't have to leave behind those extra things that you really needed but couldn't take. Everything's done at your convenience, and there's trust. There's a lot of trust.
Thank you for your time. Any questions?
I would, again, as you have also identified trust is the biggest factor, and this is so trust is not something that really, and you're saying that you will also provide those screening facilities.
True.
It's not possible for an individual or a company or a trade to say that I will provide this screening thing. It has to really go up to the last point of checkout. On the airport itself, there are screening machines, there are, so you couldn't go just by trust. Trust is not something that can work in this particular model. It is a problem, it is, a great solution as well, whereby, the passengers do have that allowances which they can pass it on, but then it should be done through maybe the authorized sources. So which is the airline, which is the airport, whereby they can kind of give it back and the airport can, kind of give it to the passengers who need it the most. But apart, I don't see that, it can work any other way than really going and, doing it with the right partners.
Trust is just the brand adjective we're using. What will happen, ma'am, is if I'm traveling, we're not even going to go through the pre-screening to security through our centers. What we'll do is just go to the airlines and pass through the authorized and certified security checks. But our app allows security to be doubled. We have our centers. When it's screened through our centers, then you go to the airlines, and then the same security check is done again.
Okay, that was a great presentation, guys. I think that's a great example for the guys in the room of how to articulate your proposition really simply. So well done with that. It was really well done. This is a real problem, right? There are some startups out there at the moment in the UAE and in Pakistan that are looking at this at the moment. There's people like Zooper worth looking at. Your biggest challenge you've identified is security. The cost for you to double up the security that Donata have already invested in to meet IATA regulations will kill the business. The only way to make this work for the three-stage process of X-ray, of dog sniffing on and explosive materials checks, the three stages of that is an incredibly expensive bit of software, of hardware to get. You have to get into bed with Donata or Swissport or these guys who have invested in it. That's the only way that this business will scale. Right. But I'm sorry we're short on time, but I thought that was a really great presentation. Well done.
Can I get to answer your question? Can I get to answer that? Of course. So when we were on a revenue model, the revenues we might be expecting were conservative, but the costs were not. We said that we'll be running an 87 million costs per year. That's speculative, but that's we have an extra buffer space. And as you said, we won't be doing this ourselves. We will be partnering up with brands that you mentioned.
So you've got 300. So sorry if I may, on one of your competitors on the courier.
Yeah.
The 300 dirhams per kilo, right? Is what DHL or UPS or Aramex will be charging, right? So you've got 300 dirhams per kilo to play with. There's a huge market there. You just need to solve for it around that way.
So we are working on the security bit, and I think partnering up with the security agency is something that few of our competitors are doing. So I think it'd be amazing to look at that as well. Thank you.
Yeah, nothing from that. We just covered everything.
Right. And I'll just quickly add on one example of a startup, which was Airbnb. They started off with the same Airbnb.
I was joking.
No. So the same brand, they had the problem of people coming in, unknown strangers living at your house. Now we're dealing with something which is less severe. We're just.
You're dealing with something that's much more severe. Someone has a house party and trashes your table is one thing. Someone brings down a passenger liner. It's another problem.
That's why we've limited the items we'll be processing.
So to take baby steps, we aren't saying that you give us your luggage and we're gonna take whatever you give us, but we're gonna legal documents,
clothing, apparel are all we're dealing with that.
Contracts.